capturing strong wind and rough surf as Hurricane Beryl nears landfall on the Texas coast. Tonight, the big message from officials is to hunker down and stay off the roads. Thank you for joining us at this early hour. I'm Stephanie Simmons.
And I'm Ron Trevino. We have you covered with what you need to know right now. We have teams stationed across the area, but we start with meteorologist Cheetah Craft and the latest on Hurricane Beryl. Cheetah.
That's right. Hurricane Beryl nearing landfall. You can see this well-defined eye. So we're still looking at a Category 1 hurricane expected to make landfall, I think, sometime before 3 a.m. So we're looking at that in the next hour. Notice across the board, the bands are now picking up. So some of these rainfall rates we're also going to notice over the next several hours picking up as well. Now, we are under an active tornado watch, but really the only active warning right now is this flash flood warning. We have seen rounds of periods of moderate to briefly heavy rain, but that's been from Matagorda, Brazoria, and now Galveston County. We are really starting to see conditions in Galveston completely deteriorate. So live look outside, camera lens bouncing up and down. That's because of the wind. Notice the visibility is becoming more of an issue. So we are watching those wave heights, but it is going to be harder to see, of course, as these conditions deteriorate, as that rain continues to pick up in intensity. But winds are also picking up in intensity as it nears landfall. We're going to be looking at storm surge potentially up to 6 to 7 feet, and that's even in Galveston Bay, right along Matagorda Bay. So still expecting this to make landfall as a Cat 1. Max sustained winds right now at 80 miles per hour, still moving in that northwest direction around 10 miles per hour. So that has stayed really steady. Expected to make landfall in Matagorda, but notice how Hurricane Beryl, which was forecasted late last night, remains as a Category 1 as it pushes inland. Pay attention to this because that's also going to be the winds that are going to be wrapping around Beryl for inland locations. Fort Bend County, Brazoria County, portions of Waller County potentially could see hurricane force wind gusts. Now, right now, a live look at your current winds here at 2:02 this morning, sustained at 30 miles per hour in Galveston. They have continued to gradually pick up. 26 in Angleton. Look at Palacios, sustained winds right now at 40 miles per hour in town, up to 21 miles per hour. Now look at the gusts. There's a very big difference. We're looking at 70 mile per hour wind gusts right now in Palacios because that eye is getting closer. What's also we're going to notice, all of this wind is picking up the moisture when we're talking about storm surge, and that is what is driving that water into areas right along the coastline. And that's why the height, that storm surge height, started to increase as well, again, as Beryl nears landfall in the next hour. Wind gusts in Galveston at 45 miles per hour, Pearland at 35, Sugar Land at 31, Tomball at 25. So pretty much all across the board, we're dealing with strong wind gusts. And then to bring in meteorologist Ken Castro, we're going to be tag teaming this morning. This is going to be a big wind event. And, I'm afraid that there's going to be a big area, Kem, of widespread power outages.
Yeah, Cheetah, all of the threats are on the table with Hurricane Beryl. Those wind gusts are going to be impacting inland communities because, as you mentioned, it is going to maintain that Category 1 strength as it pushes even into the I-10 corridor. So let's track Beryl. As it starts to make landfall, we'll start to notice those higher wind gusts pushing inland. Look at downtown, expecting to see wind gusts at 70 miles an hour by 8 o'clock in the morning. Hobby Airport could be closer to 90 miles an hour. As Beryl continues to push north, it's going to lose a little bit of intensity as it interacts with land more and more, but still 65 mile an hour wind gusts by 10 o'clock. How about at Hobby, closer to 80? Wind is going to extend as far north as Tomball, gusts at 50 miles an hour, Huntsville 61. Now we're looking at the lunch hour. So we'll continue to track wind from Beryl as we head into the afternoon. 2, 3 o'clock, that's when I suspect the wind finally starts to taper. Now, some of this wind could be tornadic too. We are under a tornado watch. We've already seen a tornado warning in Matagorda. I'm suspecting these warnings will continue to pop. This watch is in effect until 10 o'clock in the morning, and that comes along with the prolific rain bands. I mean, we're talking about a complete sheet of rain that's going to blanket southeast Texas. So that's a snapshot in about an hour's time, and you'll notice from Bay City to downtown, rain and heavy of it. We'll continue to track this throughout the morning and notice that deep red color over Harris County continues through 5:30 through 7:30. Now we're tracking rain bands even into the lunch hour. Look at that snapshot, noon hour, and another heavy rain band for Harris County. So the flood concern is there, and it's there for everybody. These amounts of rainfall accumulations throughout the swath from Walker County down to Brazoria, 6 to 10 inches is on the table, and that could lead to rapid threats when it comes to flash flooding. So again, because we are on the east side of Beryl, all of the threats from this hurricane are heightened. So winds, tornado, surge, which Cheetah mentioned, is up 4 to 7 feet along the entire coastline. So Chambers, Galveston, Brazoria, Matagorda. The entire day is a weather impact alert day, guys. We're going to have to track Beryl very closely throughout the morning, watching those wind impacts move inland throughout the next few hours.
All right, Kim Castro, thank you for the latest update on that. Now to a live look at Galveston Island, courtesy of Saltwater Recon. The wind really picking up there and causing some dangerous surf.
Yeah, Matt Doherty joins us live from the island. Matt, you've been there throughout the night. Conditions are just getting worse.
Yeah, as you can see, it's just getting worse and worse. This is absolute torture right now. You can take a look out there and you can see some of the rain as it's coming up over the water and some of the wind just sweeping. You can see how our headlights have kind of lit that up over there, and you can see just how fast that rain is coming at us right now. This is by far the strongest winds that we've seen so far. It's hard for us to hear. Ryan, back over here. So I want to show you what the anemometer, what the wind gauge is showing right now. Let me just fix this. Ryan, if you can get a shot right there. What's it reading right now? Like at 31. I'm trying to hold it as closely to the wind as I can. It's just difficult. So anyway, yeah, about 31 miles an hour sustained winds right now. That's certainly the strongest winds that we've felt so far tonight. The last hour was about, I'd say, 22 to 25. So this is a big difference, a big escalation in the severity of what we're out here. I mean, it is, you know, we're starting to feel kind of this like cold, a rush of cold air followed by heat. Really unusual weather conditions that nobody wants to be out here experiencing. That's why we're doing it for.
Okay, Matt, we're losing you just a little bit. If you can hear me, this is Cheetah. Thank you for your report. Stay safe. The reason you're feeling that, you're right about the winds. I've been monitoring these winds. Not only is the eye getting a lot closer to the shore there, we're seeing winds now gusting in Galveston at 45 miles per hour. So you're going to notice those wave heights really picking up. Storm surge could be between 4 to 7 feet. So again, make sure you're staying safe out there. We're going to be tracking it right here. Guys, I'll send it back to you for now.
All right, thank you so much, Cheetah. From the coast now to Sugar Land, Fort Bend County is bracing for strong winds, rain, and the potential for flooding.
Our Jeremy Rogalski is joining us live from Sugar Land right now. Jeremy, we just checked in with you an hour ago. In that time, how have conditions changed?
We're seeing more gusts out here in Sugar Land Town Square, but nothing sustained in terms of measurable winds. As the crow flies from where Matt Doherty was to Sugar Land Town Square, we're probably talking 50 to 55 miles per hour. 50 miles distance between the two locations. And this is the difference. We have slow and steady rain, but certainly none of the winds that Matt is experiencing down there right now. A couple of gusts here and there, but what's Matt saying we're going to get here in the next, I would guess, 30 to 45 minutes. This is an outdoor dining area in Sugar Land Town Square. You could take a look at what some of the restaurants have done, stacking up their tables and chairs in preparation for Beryl coming through. I'm actually surprised they didn't take these items inside because they quickly can become airborne and projectiles and cause a lot of property damage. We've been here since yesterday afternoon, and officials warned that this area, and as our meteorologists have said, could be seeing sustained tropical storm force winds. So we're talking, you know, upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour as Beryl comes ashore and makes its way inland. Power is still on right now, but officials also tell us they expect some localized power outages with those winds, so that's a concern. In terms of rainfall totals, Fort Bend County officials say some parts of the county, some residents could see up to 10 inches or more, enough to pose a real flash flooding threat. We spoke with the city of Sugar Land earlier, and they have 2 high water rescue vehicles at the ready on standby. The Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office also has a swift water rescue boat ready to be deployed just in case things are needed. Right now, it is pretty much a ghost town, as it should be at this hour. People have seemed to heed the warnings. The only vehicles we're seeing on the roads are the occasional police cruiser from the Sugar Land Police Department. So that's the latest here. So far, so good, but obviously, as time progresses, things will start to go downward before Beryl makes its way through and we finally see some relief. We'll send it back to you.
Well, it's great to know that everybody's taking precautions there in Fort Bend County, as they should. And of course, we pray it doesn't get that bad, but we'll be finding out in the next few hours. Thank you so much, Jeremy Rogowski. Be safe out there. Now we're going to head closer to the center of town, where impacts are being felt right now.
Our Stephen Goen is in the Heights for us right now. And Stephen, you've been out there for quite some time now. How is it right now?
Yeah, well, we're starting to finally see some light rain and some light wind, as indicated by some of the trees in the distance kind of blowing in the breeze. But this just started about 30 to 45 minutes ago, so this is relatively, the new conditions. It's hard to say if this will be a sustained rainfall or something that will, stop and restart. We've been getting this rain kind of coming and going throughout the day on Sunday as those outer bands of Beryl were coming closer. Of course, we're still seeing those outer bands as the storm is preparing to make landfall. Now, depending or because of how late it is or early it is, depending on your schedule, we're seeing hardly anyone out on the roads right now. City officials had said they wanted people off the roads by 10 p.m. On Sunday night, and we're seeing a lot of adherence to that. But of course, because of the hour, there's not a lot of people on the roads. If there was someone on the road, I don't think they'd have too many problems in the conditions that we're seeing right now. But of course, things could change in an instant. So that's what we're seeing right now here in West Houston. Just a little bit of light rain. It's actually just in the few seconds we've been talking, almost kind of lightened up a little bit. But it's kind of been like this for about 45 minutes. We've been seeing it kind of be a bit heavier and then a bit lighter. So we'll kind of continue to monitor these conditions out here to see if this rain will pick up. We know it will, but it's a question of when. So for now, in West Houston, we're throwing it back to you.
All right, Stephen Goen, the calm before the storm, as they say in the Heights, getting a little break right now. Much different scene this morning in Galveston. So let's take another live look at Galveston, courtesy of our saltwater recon cameras. And you can see the power of the hurricane sending water spraying over the seawall. We're going to be showing you conditions there and other places all morning long. School districts across the area are closing campuses and shutting down offices, along with summer programs because of Beryl this morning. They include Houston, Fort Bend, and Spring Branch ISDs, just to name a few. You can find that full list on KHOU.com. Also this morning, Harris County courts and Houston municipal courts will be closed. All criminal and civil court cases will be reset. For a new court date, check with your attorney or the clerk's website for the very latest. Jury duty for today is also canceled and will not need to be rescheduled.
Right now, all Metro services are suspended. At this point, Metro Rail and Lyft services are set to resume at 8 o'clock this morning, but all park and rides and HOV lanes will be staying closed.
All right, 2:14 at this early hour. Cheetah, the big message this morning, stay off the roads, stay home.
Oh, you do. You need to do that really up until about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Not only are we going to be dealing with all of this rain, but it's also a wind event. I can't stress that enough. You don't know what debris is going to be out there throughout the morning hours. So yeah, you don't want to have to deal with this, okay? If you don't have to, let us show you what is going on. So live look at the radar. Here is the eye eye of Hurricane Beryl, and it is getting close to land. You know, this is going to happen in the next hour or two, okay? So we are watching for landfall very soon. No active warnings right now. We do have this flood warning for portions of Matagorda into Brazoria County. You know, they've already seen these rounds of moderate and heavy rain at times, and that's just what's going to continue to push inland. So again, that's the only active warning right now. You can't see that well-defined eye. You know, it became a hurricane last night. Category 1, maximum sustained winds at 80 miles per hour. So keep in mind, after 74, that's what classifies that as a Category 1 hurricane. What would make it a Cat 2 would be 96 mile per hour winds. I'm not expecting that at this point. It remains fairly steady. Let me walk you through where we're seeing some of the moderate and heavy rain. So here in Matagorda and Brazoria County, here's Richwood, Bay City to Ashwood. This has been really steady rain over the past several hours. I take you in town. So here's inside the loop from Bel Air to West U, Hunters Creek, north side, steady rain. This is moderate rain. I would say pockets of light to moderate rain. We're noticing this is being steady, but notice our live flood gauges. We're partners with the Harris County Flood Control District. Everywhere is showing green. That is good news. We are going to be monitoring our bayous and creeks very carefully all morning long. So far, so good across the area. But remember, Hurricane Beryl has not made landfall yet. So these bands are going to continue to push inland throughout the morning hours. So you want to stay off the roadways if you can through about 2 or 3 this afternoon. Live look outside in Galveston. We just saw that live report from Matt Doherty. Conditions really rapidly deteriorating. Heavy rain across the area. Notice even your visibility with the camera going back and forth. Strong winds. Winds have continued to pick up. Now, I wanted to show you live shots, though, all around the area, not only from Galveston, but even from the Galleria. You can see steady rain on and off from the camera lens there. Visibility is looking okay so far. From the Botanical Gardens, we've been watching steady rain. You can see the winds picking up as well, and that's what we're going to continue to see throughout the morning. Let me show you the latest track from the National Hurricane Center. What they're going to start doing is these hourly updates. So it's 2:17 this morning. Notice the latest advisory was at 2 a.m. Right now, Hurricane Beryl with maximum sustained winds at 80 miles per hour. Remember that Category 1 at 74, it would become Cat 2 at 96. So we're going to be looking at a moderate to strong Category 1 hurricane upon landfall. Still offshore, we are expecting landfall, I would say, in the next hour or two. That was part of the discussion with the National Hurricane Center at 2 a.m. this morning. It's moving northwest at 10 miles per hour. That has also stayed really steady. Still anticipating landfall in Matagorda County. We will see if it's just east or west of Sargent there in portions of Brazoria County. But again, mainly landfall there in Matagorda. Remains a Category 1 as it lifts northward quickly. But keep in mind, even this tight, fast moving hurricane is still going to be producing not only tropical storm force winds now, but the potential of these hurricane force winds. Think 40 to 80 miles per hour where you see that cone of uncertainty there. Where that's moving, Fort Bend, portions of western Harris County as well. So we are all going to be under the threat for these really strong winds. Current winds right now, 48 miles per hour in Plashes, 30 miles per hour in Galveston. Wind gusts. I want to bring in meteorologist Kim Castro. Check out the wind gust in Palacios. Wow. Kim, 69 mile per hour gust right now. 45 in Galveston. I can see why that live shot from Matt Doherty was going in and out. Yeah. It's just difficult to sustain it with rain, strong winds. We're really seeing this amplified right now.
Exactly. He was showing us sustained winds at 30 miles an hour, which doesn't sound like a lot. That is the baseline. So every gust is well above that. 60, 70 mile an hour gusts along the coastline. Here's the thing about Beryl. It's a Category 1 hurricane, but this could have more impacts than a Category 3 hurricane. Let me explain why. It's intensifying upon landfall, which means it has momentum. It's gaining strength. If we were to say, let's have a Category 3 hurricane that was weakening, we would see those impacts weakening along the coastline and then certainly further inland. But because Beryl is intensifying as it's making landfall, we are expecting to see some significant wind, rain. Every element from the hurricane is at play here. So yes, as of the 2 a.m. advisory, and we're going to get an advisory every hour at this point, 80-mile-an-hour winds, and it's moving north-northwest at 10 miles an hour. Still expected to make a landfall in Matagorda, but notice what happens shortly after that. The eye starts to wobble a little bit, so it'll get between Matagorda and Brazoria, and then those wind gust impacts felt pretty much everywhere across southeast Texas to some degree. 90-mile-an-hour wind gust potential for Angleton. That's what our high-resolution future track models have. As we head into the 8 o'clock hour, Hobby Airport, 88-mile-an-hour wind gust. Downtown, 70-mile-an-hour wind gust. We'll keep putting this clock into motion because Beryl's expected to maintain its Category 1 strength even as it's passing through land. Again, because it's an intensifying storm, so it's going to have that composure for a little bit longer than hurricanes making landfall that are weakening would normally have. So 10:30 Conroe. Hurricane force wind gusts 74 miles an hour, and this continues its trek northward throughout the afternoon. Still very breezy. Now tropical storm force wind impacts for Huntsville down to Conroe, even downtown still a 40-mile-an-hour wind gust, and we saw what 30-mile-an-hour sustained winds looks like from that live shot from Matt Doherty. So what are we looking at when it comes to Beryl? Still tracking hurricane force wind as one of the top threats. The prolific rain is not only going to be an issue for inland areas, but along the coastline you factor in the rain plus the push of the wind stacking up the waves and that coastal storm surge threat. Not to mention, we've also got the threat for isolated tornadoes. So what is the rain going to look like? Well, it starts to fill in here over the next hour, and it stays very heavy through at least the lunch hour. By 1-2 o'clock, heaviest rain bands are north of Huntsville, and then the forecast starts to quiet down. We'll have to kind of take a survey of what sort of impacts we see, but for now we're looking at a swath of impacts from Walker County down to Brazoria. 6 to 10 inches expected. That is rain that could lead to flash flooding, something that we expect on the dirty side of the storm. Remember, Harris County positioned directly east of this eye of this landfall in Matagorda, so all of these threats are at a higher level. In fact, we've got this tornado watch that is in effect through at least 10 o'clock in the morning. It's a weather impact alert day. Be very careful at this point. Stay hunkered down in an interior space, guys. We should be seeing some of these warnings popping up throughout the morning. Again, everything on the table: flash flooding, the threat for tornadoes, the threat for damaging hurricane force wind gusts.
That's right, Kim. So even hours after it makes landfall, it remains a hurricane with all the hurricane risks. Hey, thank you for watching. Please stay safe out there. Stay informed.
You can look for updates online and on air at the top of every hour throughout the morning with us. We will also have an extended newscast starting at 4 a.m. And a quick reminder just to scan the QR code you see on your screen right now for up-to-the-minute information online at KHOU.com and also on the KHOU 11 app.